Welcome to our program, Our Voice. My name is Clarence Louie. I'm the host. We are co-sponsored by the Asian American Chamber of Commerce as well as the San Joaquin County Asian Alliance. This evening we have two unique guests. We have Jay Stevens and Andreas Garcia. So welcome to our show, guys.
Thanks, Clarence. Thanks for having us.
All
Thank you
right.
for having us, Larry.
Now I understand you guys are pretty much almost done with this semester at the University Pacific. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yes.
And you both just completed your junior year.
Right.
Okay. Well, before we talk to our audience about the special trip and what you guys done over spring break, tell me a little bit about yourself. You guys from this community?
Yes, I was born and raised in Stockton for 24 years. Pretty much lived in the same neighborhood for all 22 years.
Okay. And you?
I was born and raised in Linden up until about age 13. Then I moved into Stockton, down the street from Jay Stevens, and been part of the Stockton community since.
And what are some of the local schools, elementary, middle school, high school, that you guys attended?
I attended St. Luke's Catholic Elementary School, and after that I attended St. Mary's High School.
I attended Linden Elementary all the way up until middle school, Waterloo Middle School. In 8th grade, I moved into Stockton. That's when I attended Webster Middle School. And then after 8th grade, I moved back to Linden to finish my high school years at Linden High School.
And you guys were kind of like childhood friends.
Yeah.
And both ended up going to University Pacific.
Yeah.
What's that like going to University Pacific?
It's a great experience. It's something that I never anticipated. Throughout high school, I was just mainly involved in sports. I also excelled in academics, but I really didn't push myself to my fullest potential. So, college at the time wasn't too big for me at that point. I knew I was going to go, but I didn't know where. So I did what anyone else would do if they wanted to go to college. I went to Delta. And my sister, she is a Delta, she's a Pacific alum. She attended University of the Pacific, and she urged me and encouraged me to go, and I felt that Delta prepared me for the curriculum at University of the Pacific, and from the outside looking in, I couldn't imagine all the opportunities that were provided for me up to this point in my college career.
Okay, and my understanding, your major right now is pre-dental?
I'm a pre-dent major. A biology major is my focus, so I'm looking to get my BS in biological sciences, and I'm applying to dental school this summer. But the Pacific experience is a very, very great experience so far, and it's shown me many opportunities, many windows of opportunities to better myself and to become involved, on campus and in the community, and it being a private school, I have the opportunity to develop those relationships and connections with, my peers and the faculty, and it's a great way to network, in the community and to establish relationships outside. So I made a happy choice. I'm content with being at Pacific, and I love it there. I can't wait, to start next fall, even though it's going to be stressful.
Wow.
But
you sound like a very motivated student.
at times, I try to stay positive.
Good. Andreas, what about you?
I still can't believe I go to UOP, even though I show up there every day. I go to school Monday through Friday. I never thought I could get into school at UOP.
Now, Andreas, did you start from high school directly to University Pacific?
No, after I graduated high school from Linden High School, I went to Delta College,
Oh, okay.
finished at Delta, and transferred to UOP. But I never really thought I could get into UOP just because, being a really prestigious school. So to me, it's like a great accomplishment, just being admitted to UOP and going to UOP. The social science department is a good department. We have great faculty, good professors. The campus is small and tight knit, so you get a lot of support, you get a lot of help from faculty members on campus, which is a good help, for students, because college is a little stressful, with the load.
So, you say social science. Is your major social science or some
Sociology
discipline?
department.
Sociology.
Correct.
Okay. And what do you want to do with I'm gonna put you on the spot a little bit. What do you want to do with that type of education?
I just picked up a pre-minor in law, but so right now I'm trying to figure out what it is I want to do with my major, sociology and pre-law. I would like to maybe pursue a career in law, or in some deals with community service, or community service, or maybe like public health.
Well, you sound like both people oriented. Now, here you guys going to school, and I gather you both are full-time students at Pacific.
Right.
And then we recently had a spring break,
Yeah.
and generally, when I hear college students talk about spring break, they talk about going to the Bahamas, going out, play out in the pool in Florida. Now tell me, what did you guys did this past spring break?
It's funny that you mentioned that, because for spring break, everyone was like, Jay, what are you going to do for spring break? I'm going to Cambodia. What are you doing? I'm going to Vegas. Going to Cancun. And Les and I, we talked about it. And we're going to Cambodia, and everyone else is going to these top 10 beaches. And so we went to Cambodia for our spring break. For 2 weeks.
What, to lay on the beach or what?
No. We went to Cambodia, first and foremost to be tourists, to visit the temples, the countryside, to have an understanding of the culture and the traditions and the history of Cambodia. But with me being a pre-dental major, I wanted to kind of incorporate my interest, in that trip, and to personalize it, to make it my own. So I'm not just a tourist, in a large country like Cambodia. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to establish a small project which was geared around healthcare, and more specifically dental hygiene, oral healthcare. So I got in touch with my project advisor, Sandra Rudy, and I laid out the idea for her and asked her what she thought, and she said, we could do that. So she came into contact with few people, and I did my part of the work, and turned my idea into a reality. Went to Cambodia and executed.
And you just, what was your purpose of going?
Well, my purpose to go to Cambodia was to further educate myself in the Asian culture, but to be specific in the Cambodian culture and its history. I was fortunate enough to visit the temples, Cambodia, most famous Angkor Wat. We went to a town by the name of Battambang, which was more of a everyday life town, not so much tourists in that area. And then we went to the capital. So what I wanted to take away from the trip was just first-hand knowledge. I have seen documentaries on Cambodia, read a little bit about it and its history, with the Pol Pot and the Khmer Rouge. So I felt that just being there and having first-hand experience was just a genuine way to get hands-on, knowledge. Because after we came back from the trip, Jay and I, we were talking, and we couldn't believe that we were there. And I told him that, we got to experience Angkor Wat. We read about it, we see it on TV, we've seen it in movies, but just being there in person is a different experience.